Hello and welcome to the Bachelor podcast with Nicole and Matt. This is the show where we discuss the whole family of Bachelor reality TV relationship shows on ABC, or at least most of the shows from the Bachelor family. My name is Matt. I am here with my wife Nicole, and welcome to the Bachelor podcast. Hey Nicole.
Hi. Good to be back.
Yeah, we're back. Can you believe we got to hear our theme song play again? And
I know.
Sitting here in the Bachelor podcast studios one more time. We didn't think it was gonna happen, did we?
I know, but those persistent fans.
That's right.
They wouldn't give up on us.
So before I get into that, let me explain a little bit about the show here. What happens is, usually every week after The Bachelor or Bachelorette airs, Nicole and I will record a show where we recap and kind of make fun of the show a little bit, and we have Nicole's uh-oh moment, and maybe we'll read some listener feedback, and we have a good time. It's also a spoiler-free show. That means Nicole and I go through great pains to make sure that we don't know who gets the final rose at the end of the show. So that's another thing. And basically, we used to do it every single week, but last summer during Bachelor Pad, we decided to take a little bit of a break. Why was that?
Because I hated Bachelor Pad, and I think it's one of the dumbest shows ever.
You're not wrong, because I agreed with you, and we both decided maybe it was a time to take a nice little hiatus.
Right.
Have some of our summer back. We had a kind of a stressful year,
right.
So it was a good decision at the time. In the meantime, in the spirit of full disclosure, I started as kind of a side project doing some creative writing, and it really took off. So it kind of took up a lot of my time. So when it came time for Sean to be the Bachelor, both Nicole and I were thinking, maybe this is the time to kind of step back a little bit and take some time off, and I could focus more on my writing and not have to worry about the podcast as much. But then what happened?
Then we had a bunch of listeners emailing us, messaging us, saying, please come back, come back. We didn't know we were so well liked.
We didn't. These are all people that we don't even know,
no,
which was
we don't.
the most amazing thing. So
the people that we know that listen actually didn't say anything to us.
Yeah, none of them really seem to care. But
complete strangers were the ones who cared. So anyway, we said we'd come back for an episode or two during the season. So we're just going to give you a little bit of some of our opinions on what's been taking place so far. So let's start with this. What do you think of Sean as the Bachelor?
I was not a big fan of Sean in the previous season with Emily. You can go back and listen to the episodes. I thought he was a little dry, but I thought he was like a really nice guy. But he really won me over, though, when he did that prank on Emily.
When he was pretending that he was living with his parents and the room was really messy.
Yeah.
It was great.
That was hilarious. So that really made me like him a lot. So now going into the season, he's really impressed me. He is very thoughtful and very genuine.
Well, we knew that about him, though. I think what's impressed me about him is that he's more of a normal person. He's not just this perfect guy. He's down to earth more. He seems more funny and fun loving. And on Emily's season, he seems so serious, which is interesting because when Emily was on Brad's season, I thought she came off as very serious. And you're like the single mom, this beautiful woman who lost her fiance.
It's true.
But then when she was the Bachelorette, you saw her sense of humor and her fun side. So I think that this happened with Sean too. I mean, I think the producers are showing a different side of him, which is great. So let's talk about some of the front runners that we think are going to be in for the long haul.
Okay. Well, let me give you my top 4 front runners. How about that?
I have a top 5.
You have a top 5?
I do.
Let's see how much they overlap. Okay. First, in alphabetical order, I'm going to say Ashley. Now, this is Ashley with the capital L in the middle. This is Ashley. She's the girl who was adopted by the pastor, and she was a foster kid, and she's a professional organizer, which maybe...
Six Flags Day.
That's right. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But yeah, I can't imagine what life would be like living with a professional organizer. maybe
Very organized.
Maybe I do know what it's like living with a professional organizer, actually.
So yeah, I agree. I like her a lot.
You like her? Is she on your list of 5?
She's on my top 5.
Okay.
So I will agree with you on that. But let me just say this about her: I don't think I would bet money that she's not who Sean picks. He wants someone who's more fun-loving and silly, and she just seems really sweet and nice, and she'd be like the perfect bachelorette. You know what I mean? To have her own show, I think she's just really sweet and pretty and perfect, and but I don't think Sean's picking her. That's my theory.
I think she'd make a great bachelorette for her own season.
Right,
I agree.
Right.
I agree.
Who else?
Desiree. I think Desiree is a strong contender. I think she is very down to earth and normal, and I think she's handling herself well in the house, which I think goes a long way for The Bachelor. You don't seem to agree that she's handling herself well?
I think she's handling herself fairly well, but not as well as someone like Ashley. I mean, Desiree has, been known to say things about Tiara and roll her eyes and complain, and so
that's
she's
true.
Not as sweet as I think Sean needs. I think Desiree is top 2. I'm saying Desiree's in the top 2.
Wow. Okay.
I think it's highly likely he is going to pick her.
Then I really like Leslie. She's kind of like tomboyish a little bit. She's sort of like, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, but he doesn't want that.
But I think there's something about that that a lot of guys find attractive. They like a guy,
Yeah.
like a girl that's going to be like,
to a certain
what's
extent,
up,
to a certain point. And after a while,
she can put on a baseball hat and go see a game.
That's great, but there's no chemistry there. Sorry, don't see it at all.
There's no chemistry.
No chemistry.
No way.
Nope. This was the girl that they had like the world's Guinness Book of World Record longest kiss, and he's like, oh, she's really attractive. She's so pretty. I really like her, but nope, not lasting.
Well, then my final of the 4 is Selma. I think Selma. Now she's not particularly my favorite, but I think there's something about her that he really likes. I think the fact that she's not kissing is making her hard to get, and he's all over that.
Exactly, and she's doing that. She's so annoying. Like if that's your belief system, and if you want to respect your parents that way, that's awesome, and I have a lot of respect for you for that. But don't be nuzzling up to his chest, looking up at him, saying, "Yeah, I can't kiss you right now." That's really annoying. She annoys me even more than Tiara. I'm done with her.
Oh, come on.
Yes.
Now. Come on.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Because of that?
Yep.
That's not fair. That's
Tiara,
not fair.
It's not fair to Tiara. I mean, Tiara's really annoying, but I think the show is making her out to be so much more of this like crazy witch than she actually is. And Selma is really annoying. She's so not right for Sean. She's like, oh, I hate the outdoors. I hate doing this. I hate doing that. And Sean's like, yeah, I really love the outdoors. And I really want to go rock climbing. And I really want to go hiking. And she's so putting on this fake falseness for him. And she annoys me.
Sometimes opposites attract, Nicole.
I think Sarah is in the top 5.
Okay, Sarah, she has the handicap, right?
Yeah, she has. Well, she doesn't want to say that she's handicapped.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
She does not have an arm. She only has one arm. But I really like her. I think Sean likes her. I don't see her going past top 5 or 4. But I think she's a really sweet girl, and I think she's probably one of the most normal people in this whole house. She seems very well grounded and down to earth.
Right.
I think top 2 is Desiree and Lindsay. Crazy Lindsay from the first night who wore the wedding dress and got drunk. I think he really is liking her. She's alright, but I think he's really liking her.
I'm making a face right now. Really?
Yeah, trust me. I'm telling you. He really likes her for some reason. I don't know why.
I have a separate list of girls.
Okay.
Girls that I wish were around more often so that we could get to know them better. Lindsay's on that list. I feel like I don't know anything about her. I'm surprised that you think that she's so strong of a front runner.
I feel
like we haven't seen her at all.
A little bit. He says every time he talks to her, he goes, "Wow, every time I talk to her, I like her more and more and more." I think she's moving slow and steady wins the race.
Well, I also wish we saw more of Sarah. I feel like she's not getting a fair shake right now. I mean.
Yeah.
she's just kind of like fading into the background. I hope she kind of steps it up a little bit.
How bad did you feel for the other Leslie that left last week after that Pretty Woman date?
Oh, I really liked her a lot.
I felt so bad. My heart,
Yeah, that
literally was breaking.
because she's such a sweetheart.
And she really liked him, and it was this whole long date, and
One more thing about Leslie, but really quick, I do want to finish the list of girls I wish we knew more about.
Yes.
I believe it's Jackie.
Yes.
Who is she? What?
No, Daniela. She got the last rose.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Who are you? I feel like Daniela and Leslie, the Leslie that you like, that's
okay.
like, hey, dude, what's up, man? Like, that talks like a guy.
Yeah.
I think Daniela and Leslie, I feel like they've been on The Bachelor since season 1. Meaning, I feel like we see those kinds of girls.
The ghosts of their past
Yeah,
lives.
they just have this certain look to them where they're pretty, but they're not that pretty enough to win the show, win the guy's heart in the end. Like, they're attractive enough, but there's just not this chemistry there.
I have a great question. Do you want to feel old?
Okay.
I wonder how old...
I love feeling old. Go ahead, hon. Tell me.
I wonder how old the average bachelorette on this season was when the first season of The Bachelor started.
You know what? They're not... They're pretty old this season.
Really?
Yeah, I've been noticing. Like Ashley, the organizer, she's 32. You know, they're not that young. Like, years ago, they used to be 21, 22, 23. I think the youngest is 24, if I'm not correct. If I'm not mistaken, I'm sorry. A lot of them are 28, 27. So they're not as young as they used to be.
Now, one other thing that we've noticed this year, which is a huge thing for people that have listened to this show, our podcast for a while, that you probably thought about us when the season started airing, because I'm sure you can't go a moment without thinking about the Bachelor podcast. There's a lot more diversity this year in the girls that have been selected for the pool.
This is true. And more diversity as in the women that Sean's actually kept around for a while.
Right.
I mean, every now and then, you know, they'll diversify things up a little bit, and the Bachelors will keep a girl around, you know.
Right, he'll keep the token black girl for a little bit. But,
for like an episode, and that's it.
But, you know, he's made it very clear that, hey, you know, I don't really have a type, and I date, you know, whoever.
Yeah.
In fact, my last girlfriend was black.
Right.
So he's made that very clear, and he's definitely not, you know, as conventional as maybe some of the other guys are, which is awesome.
Yes.
I really applaud that.
I really like him a lot.
Now, it could also be because The Bachelor, the show, was sued because of
Maybe.
supposedly
however,
denying...
however, Mike Fleiss, I think you read a tweet from him recently.
So yeah, Mike Fleiss, the creator of The Bachelor.
The creator of The Bachelor, and, you know, producer and everything. He said that out of all the seasons he's been doing The Bachelor, Sean is in his top 2 of favorite bachelors.
He did say that.
So that says a lot. That says a lot. I mean, I don't ever remember him saying that. So that makes me like Sean even more because Mike Fleiss says that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Fleiss could just be playing us, but he's usually pretty, he's usually pretty honest. Mike Fleiss.
So let's talk about the dates. What are some of your favorite dates that you've seen this year?
I really like the one with Ashley to Six Flags, where they took those 2 girls who, you know, unfortunately they had never met before, and they met on this website for, you know, girls who have issues like
medical issues
and
yeah.
I was really, really impressed with Sean. I thought that was a sweet idea. I doubt maybe he even came up with it, but for whatever reason, whoever came up with it, it was a sweet date. It was a fun date. It was a normal date as far as, yeah, let's go to Six Flags, let's go on some roller coasters, and then we'll go out to dinner. Like,
yeah.
I cannot stand these ridiculous let's jump off the side of a building dates. I think they're dumb. And I know that it creates more entertainment. However, I think a date at Six Flags is just as entertaining. So
I agree. I really one date I thought was funny was the practical joke where
Desiree,
Desiree, where the priceless vase fell, and or vase, if you prefer.
Right, and the fake artist was upset.
Yeah,
That was funny.
Yeah, I'm glad that wasn't the whole date. I would have felt bad for her if that was the whole thing.
And it was just like, all right, now we're going back to the house.
Right. So that was fun. I really didn't like the Guinness Book of World Records date.
That
I
was
thought
so
dumb.
So dumb. I think that's going to go back into the Guinness Book of World Records for dumbest date on The Bachelor. I'm serious.
But I really liked how his dad, Sean's dad's in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah, that is cool.
How cool is that?
Very cool.
Now, what was it for? Some sort of road trip or something?
For like the shortest amount of hours it took to drive across country or to drive a certain distance.
That's amazing. How cool
Pretty
is
cool,
that?
yeah, very cool. So yeah, I'm really liking this season, and I overall think it's, going well. Tiara needs to get out of there. She's annoying, but she's not as horrific as the commercials made her out to be. At least not yet. Right.
We should note that we're recording this before the Bachelor doubleheader. So there's an episode that's going to air tonight, as of this recording, Monday night, and then an episode tomorrow night, Tuesday night.
Right.
So we apologize. We were going to try and get this episode up Sunday, but we had some technical difficulties, so that's why this is up a little bit late. So who knows what's going to happen there. So before we start wrapping things up, I do want to read some listener feedback that we got on our hiatus. Anthony Welsh wrote us from LuckyGunner.com, and he wrote us and he said, "Hey, Matt and Nicole, Anthony from LuckyGunner.com here. KCB from The Bachelor recently spent some time with us at a bachelorette party at the shooting range, and I thought you and your readers might enjoy seeing it. We got some great photos of Casey shooting, and she's not a bad shot. We had a blast with her and can understand why she's a fan favorite. So you can see some of her photos here. So if you go to LuckyGunner.com, you can see some of those photos.
She was apparently at a bachelorette party.
Yeah.
And, there's some interesting photos of her with the camouflage hat on, I feel like.
Yeah, basically.
So we appreciate, Anthony, you writing to us, and we love hearing about little spots where you might have seen a bachelor or a bachelorette contestant. And again, we want to remain spoiler free, so please don't say you saw Sean and Lindsay holding hands and he picks her.
Yeah.
But if it's something like that, we love to have info like that. So before we go, I do have
What?
my uh-oh moment. When KCB got out of the limo, the first episode.
Oh, jeez.
And I'll tell you why. I really liked her on Ben's season. I liked her a lot. I think she's a nice girl. She's sweet. She seems down to earth. All that great stuff. However, this is why it's an uh-oh moment for me. Casey and Sean had met before at a bachelorette get-together.
Okay.
Where they have these crazy hot tub cruise ship times where they all get together. And I'm saying uh-oh to Casey being on the show because, and Sean even said this himself, if you already met Sean and he did not ask for your phone number, did not ask you to go out, outside of the show, why would you go on the show thinking you're going to win in the end when now you're up against 25 other girls?
Well, maybe she thought it was because he maybe sort of had feelings for her, but...
Nope, he didn't. He didn't ask you for your number. Sorry. He didn't ask you for your number, KCB. You shouldn't have embarrassed yourself. You shouldn't have embarrassed yourself. I feel bad for her too, and that's why it's my uh-oh moment.
Wow. Well, thank you for resurrecting that old tradition here.
Well, we want to thank you for listening to the Bachelor podcast with Matt and Nicole. Please feel free to email us, and our email address is
thebachelorpodcast@gmail.com, of course. So email us there, and please leave us a voicemail. Our voicemail line is area code 631-606-2733. That's area code 631-606-2733. And please make sure that you write us and email us or leave a message on Facebook at our Facebook fan page, because That's the whole reason why we're doing this show.
Yes.
Because it's not... We don't get paid for this, obviously. Otherwise, we would have kept doing it. But the only reason why we're doing this now is because you guys made, you really clamored for us to return. So we appreciate that. But in order to keep going, we need your feedback.
Right.
We need your emails. We need your comments. We need your phone calls. So leave us a voicemail. Send us an email. You must do it.
Feel free to follow us on Twitter. Send us a message via Twitter. Our username is Bachelor Podcast. So thanks so much for listening, and we will be back for another episode sometime this season. We're not making any promises. This is a fan thank you, this podcast that we're doing right now, because we love you, our fans. So thank you for reaching out to us, and we will be giving you another podcast soon.
Yes, and you know what? Let's say this. Let's throw this out there, Nicole.
Matt.
Let's say if we get a lot of feedback, maybe we'll record one sooner rather than later. How about
that would be great.
That'd be
Love
great.
it.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, have a good night, Nicole. I'll talk to you later, and take care, everybody. Adios.